Can you rent out a property when you only have 5% deposit on that property? You're most likely thinking no, but that is incorrect in this one situation, and it's using something called a consent to let. Now, this is a very niche product and not many people know about it, so let me break it down for you. A consent to let is a temporary agreement between yourself and the lender to be able to let out your property on a residential mortgage. Now, remember that you cannot let out a normal residential mortgage. Otherwise, you will end up breaching the mortgage conditions and you may be liable to pay back the full mortgage amount as you are breaking the conditions of that mortgage. What you would normally have to do is to get a buy to let, but the issue with this is that you need to normally have 20 to 25% equity in that property to be able to then let it out. The great thing about consent to let is you could have as little as 1% in that property, and as long as the lender allows you to let it out using a consent to let, which is normally a 12-month agreement, but it can be repeated year after year. As in my situation, I'm 3 years in, you can let out that property. It is brilliant for this specific situation that I was in. I had a property, which was a 2-bed terraced, and I had a child on the way. So I needed to get a bigger property with 3 bedrooms to be able to fit my 2 children and me and my partner. So I contacted the lender, which was Halifax, to get a consent to let on my first property, which 3 years in is still on a residential mortgage. So if you ever do want to get a rental property and have it with a 5% deposit, what you need to do is you need to move into that property and you then need to let it out after a year or 2 when you move to another property or your situation changes. So that is what a consent to let is.